Coming up next on Win News, tributes for victims and survivors of the Christchurch terror attack. Have we seen the last of Skyfire? And the Raiders shut out the Titans on the road.
Across Canberra and its surrounding regions, this is Win News.
Tonight, an outpouring of support from Canberrans for victims of the Christchurch terror attack. ACT police start receiving new body-worn cameras for transparency on the beat, and cutting-edge genomic tests for Canberra patients. Good evening, I'm Geoff Phillips. Also coming up tonight, the future of Skyfire under a cloud after an exploding fireworks barge forced onlookers to take cover. Community groups are preparing vigils in Montage and Yarralumla to honour those killed in Friday's deadly mosque shootings in Christchurch. Win News reporter Alison Hatley is at the New Zealand High Commission. Alison, what's the latest?
Geoff, 3 days may have passed since the terror attack on 2 mosques in Christchurch, but the outpouring of support from Canberrans has not stopped. A book of condolence opened here at the New Zealand High Commission earlier today has been flooded with tributes, and people have told Win News that they're still in disbelief over what happened. A growing makeshift memorial outside the New Zealand High Commission in Canberra, marking a grief-stricken local community still reeling from the Christchurch mosque shootings. Alison Hatley, Win News.
There's been a surprise courtroom twist today in the case of a Canberra police officer charged over a fatal on-the-job car crash. Lachlan Chancellor pleaded guilty to negligent driving, causing the death of 54-year-old Amanda Behag. Her car was T-boned by a police car being driven by Chancellor and Kayleen last May, causing her injuries, which later claimed her life. A court previously heard Chancellor had been racing to a Priority 1 incident, but the prosecution contested his claims that he had activated emergency lights and sirens. Chancellor was due to face trial today on a more serious charge of culpable driving. He'll instead be sentenced at a later date for negligent driving. A 17-year-old boy remains in custody tonight, accused of attempting to kill an elderly man in Palmerston. The teenager allegedly attacked the 83-year-old outside his home on Tambourine Close on Friday night. That man is still in a critical condition in hospital. Police say 3 other people also had to be treated after being randomly attacked by the boy. The teenager is facing several serious charges and has been refused bail to return to court next month. A 14-year-old boy is one of 4 people hospitalised following a serious head-on collision on the far south coast. 2 cars crashed on the Princes Highway, 5 kilometres from the town of Eden, on Saturday.
2 cars crumpled, one almost torn in 2. A Hyundai station wagon and a Subaru station wagon almost unrecognisable. Samara Gardner, Win News.
A cloud of doubt now hangs over the future of Canberra's Skyfire after a fireworks barge exploded, sending embers shooting towards crowds during the 31st instalment. Some revellers are vowing never to return to the event. Others are more forgiving.
A spectacular show takes a terrifying turn.
A $3 million rollout of body-worn cameras for ACT police has begun in a move to boost accountability. The devices link up with the officers' tasers and guns. What you're seeing on the screen is a simulated standoff, giving us a feel for the vision and sound they capture.
Put the knife down, I will taser you. No, you won't. No. Warning. All right, okay, don't do it.
The cameras will be worn on the officers' uniforms and be used in part to gather evidence against criminals and to deal with complaints of police misconduct.
It's a step forward, and again it just leads to that transparency of our use of force options.
As the New South Wales state election looms, a funding boost for Queanbeyan's AFL ground has been promised from the Liberals and Nationals government, if it's re-elected. It comes as promises flow in for the regions in a last-ditch effort to sway voters.
In the lead up to the New South Wales state election, it's another game of political football.
Coming up on Win News, high-tech testing for rare diseases now publicly funded. And we return to Tathra, 12 months after bushfires devastated the far south coast town. It's been a year since a fire unlike anything the far south coast has seen bore down on Tathra. Almost 70 homes were destroyed in a matter of minutes. Residents of the town have fought back from the disaster, a unique community spirit driving the recovery.
As the sun rises 12 months on, Tathra residents are coming together, this time not in fear but in reflection.
Canberra patients battling rare or life-threatening diseases will have easier access to personalised treatment through subsidised genetic tests. The cutting-edge sequencing technology is now available as a publicly funded diagnostic service following accreditation granted to the Canberra Clinical Genomics Lab.
What it means is that other investigations may be able to be reduced or indeed ceased.
Monday Sport with Amy, and more injury woes for the Brumbies.
There are, Geoff. We will have the latest on that next. Plus, the Raiders start the NRL season with a bang.
This report brought to you by Harvey Norman. Shop with confidence. Need advice? We're here to help.
In sports, Scott CEO says he's hoping to be right for the Brumbies' clash against the Reds on Sunday, despite being forced from the field in the side's win over the Waratahs. The prop appearing in good spirits today as he and a few of his Wallabies teammates paid a visit to Canberra Grammar.
Putting his shoulder to the test against the next generation. Scott CEO in the thick of the action at Canberra Grammar today. Caitlin Chalmers, Win News.
An outstanding defensive performance has helped the Raiders start the 2019 NRL season with a win. The visitors keeping the Titans scoreless on a miserable night on the Gold Coast.
Starting 2019 with a bang.
Minor Premier Tuggan has missed out on a place in the Douglas Cup final after going down to Western Creek Molonglo in a thriller. A century to John Rogers on the opening day set Creek up for the win. Tuggan then declaring at 9 for 106 in its bid to keep its hopes alive. And that's our sport, Geoff.
I mean, thank you for that. Tanya is here with the weather and some heavy falls over the weekend.
There were, Geoff, particularly along the south coast, but the ACT did see some rain too, and the showers continued today. I'll have all the details next. Hello again. Mike captured some heavy clouds rolling in, quite a contrast to the bright blue sky behind them. If you've taken a weather photo you'd like to see up on screen, you can email it through to weather@wintv.com.au. Let's have a look at the details from today. After plenty of rain yesterday, the showers continued today. Top of 23 for Ulladulla. Merimbula picked up 27 millimetres of rain between 9 a.m. and 5 p.m, while 26 millimetres fell at Bombala, 14 millimetres falling into the gauge at Perisher today. And taking a look at the temperatures about the Snowy Mountains, a top of 12 at Perisher, 11 the high for Thredbo, which started on 6. And in Canberra today, 26 was the top temp. Its strongest wind gust was 54 kilometres an hour. Taking a look at the rainfall in the 24 hours to 9 a.m, and the rainfall was heaviest closest to the coast, 61 millimetres falling at Badella, 52 millimetres at Merimbula, while Canberra saw around 16 millimetres into the gauge. On the satellite, a low pressure trough lies near the New South Wales coast, whilst another broad trough lies over the inland. A low pressure system embedded within the coastal trough is bringing rain to southern parts of the coast. On the synoptic, the low will weaken by tomorrow night, but that trough is expected to linger. Taking a look at the forecast for the south coast, overcast with a high chance of showers and a possible storm later in the day. Now we're expecting a top of 24, also the high for Bega. Much the same in the forecast for the Snowy Mountains. Bombala heading for a top of 22 degrees, 21 the high for Cooma. To the forecast for the ACT now, partly cloudy with a medium chance of showers and the chance of a storm later on in the day. Braidwood will start the day on 13 degrees, heading for a top of 21. 25 is the forecast high for Bungendore and 28 degrees at Yass. For Canberra, a shower or two and possible storm tomorrow, heading for a top of 25, starting the day on 13 with sunrise at 7:04 in the morning, setting at 7:17 in the evening. Taking a look at Canberra's temperatures for the week ahead, some warm days to come, but a touch of cloud cover still lingering, so that crisp autumn feel is still not quite upon us, Geoff.
Won't be far away, Tan, thank you. And that is Win News for Monday the 18th of March. To view some of our reports, visit the Win News Canberra Facebook page. I'm Geoff Phillips. Coming up next is The Project. Good night.
This has been a Win News presentation. Win News. News, Regional Australia's #1 news source.